I didn't put any salt and pepper in my hot pot sauce because I seasoned the chicken very well. Since I'm letting it stand to thicken anyway, I put it in a glass bowl so that you can see through the glass bowl. Because I'm supposed to be putting it to the side to thicken anyway. Meanwhile, I'm going to get an egg white, beat it, and paint my crust. Put the yolk to the side. I don't think I'll need that for anything, but I'm going to put it to the side just in case. So I have just the egg whites. I'm going to take a basting brush and paint the inner line of the pie crust. And right here, like so, all along the inside. Like a culinary artiste that you are right now. Bitch, get down. Going to toss that in that 420 degree oven only for about 3 minutes. And my sauce is actually thickening right now. I got another hunk of chicken breast, so I'll probably cut that up and put that in pasta tomorrow. So good. Or maybe in a taco. Ooh. I'm gonna shred it up and put it in some burritos. Burritos with some beans. Beans, rice, and chicken burrito. I can't with myself. So yeah, this is supposed to be sitting to the side and thickening. Ouch, 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 ouch. And cooling off. Still hot. That's okay. I still have this reserved to the side. Cannabis will not let me fuck something up that was meant to be delicious. It won't happen. It just won't. So I'm going to put the chicken on the bottom. I think I want to put some more chicken. Oh, god damn. Burn my knuckle. Put some more chicken in here. So put this other one in. Put more chicken in the chicken hot pot. Honey. Okay. Pour the warm sauce across the chicken and veggie mixture. Put this on top. Put this other hot crust on top. Crust. Show you that. Oh, I also cut up some green onion and put it in there. You're welcome. Get some more of this egg white and paint the town. And by town I mean the top of the fucking pot pie. So then you take the whole shit, sealed, and cut slits into it. Now I'm putting excess peas and carrots. So I was saying, I don't worry about the milk ingredient for my sauce because the sauce thickens up enough on its own. And on more than one occasion, the sauce has thickened up, in fact, too much, dried up, reduced down, too thick. And it made the pot pie come out dry. Chapped ass lips. So I like to leave a little excess moisture so my pot pie is not dry, like I apparently don't do for my lips. Now for my chicken breasts, first of all, I bake them on low heat around 325 for about 20-25 minutes, right? And then I bring them out and let them sit and let them rest on the top of the oven so they can continue to cook through without drying out in its own juices. And it's okay if there's a little pink on the inside, maybe even better. Actually, I have no pink on the inside. It cooked all the way through nicely. And you can see how thick of a piece it was. I'm tender. So take the breast, tenderize it if you want to. You don't have to, I don't. But what I do is make sure I line my pan with parchment paper and onion. Y'all know how I do my meats now. I line my pans with parchment paper and vegetables, usually onion. And I season the meat. I put it in a pan. Now, if I'm baking something that's typically dry, like chicken breast, I use a deeper pan than usual, than I would a narrow one. I would use this pan. It's deeper. It's about 2.5 inches deep, and also because that cooks it, that evens the temperature across the meat, and has it cook and enhances the cooking as it cooks slower. So actually, only leave that in the oven about 20-25 minutes at the most. Then you take it out and let it rest atop the oven. To do the sauce, I'm going to try to give you measurements. Oh, now for the amount of chicken breasts for 2 people, 2 large or 3 small chicken breasts. Okay. So, yeah, you only do that about 20 minutes and take it out. You don't need to waste a bunch of vegetables like you sauteing and marinating and whatnot, because you only really cooking this for the flavor of the chicken in your whole ass chicken pot pie. So you're gonna add vegetables in other areas, i.e. the sauce I'm about to describe. For the sauce, get you a saucepan, turn on the heat, throw you about a 1/3 cup of onions in there, 2/3 if you're nasty. I usually do 2/3, but a 1/3 cup is enough. 1/3 cup of onions, a 1/3 cup of peppers, and saute those onions and peppers in a touch of garlic and a 1/3 cup of butter. No, a 1/4 cup of butter. So far for your sauce, you've taken your onions and peppers and a little garlic and sauteed them in 1/4 cup of butter. Just get it sauteed real nice and warmed up and softened in there. Then you're going to sprinkle a 1/3 cup of flour into this butter sauteed vegetables, and that's going to start to lump up, so you want to start moving and steadier, just a little more gradually, but not too fast. So in the vein of being gradual, you're going to take about a cup of water and slowly pour it into this butter sauteed veggie flour mix to loosen it up, okay? And get that cup poured in there. You continuously stir so that everything loosens up and it's a sauce and with no lumps, with no flour lumps in it. Then you pour a splash of milk, maybe a 1/4 cup of milk. You're going to add the broth that came off of your chicken breast. It's not going to be that much. It's probably going to be a 1/4 cup, but add it to this sauce I'm describing to you. You're welcome. And sprinkle a little bit of white pepper and celery seed in there, about half a teaspoon of a 1/4 teaspoon of white pepper and half a teaspoon of celery seed, and blend that in there nicely as it sautés. You should, and so continuously stir and make sure that mixes all up in itself on low. Now is a good time for you to add any other seasonings that you want to, whether it's oregano, rosemary, basil. I do basil a lot. Any other vegetables or herbs that you want to add to your sauce for your taste. This is a good time to do it. After letting it simmer for a few more minutes and stirring it constantly, turn the fire off and continue to stir for about 30 more seconds, and then you're going to set it aside to thicken and cool off. Yeah, that's what I said. As you set it aside to thicken and cool off, you do as I have done. Take your chicken breast, cut it the long way a couple of times, then cut it into small pieces, strip pieces, about so big. A whole bunch of cubes. And put that pile of baked chicken breast cubes to the side without eating them all. Now's the time you get your crust. You should have 2 pie crusts in the package. You take your baking dish that you're going to make your pot pie in, line it with parchment paper, and you line it with your first layer of pie crust. You take 1 egg, crack it, use the whites only, and you paste a thin layer of that egg white across the bottom of your baking dish, and put that dish with 1 pie crust layer in it in the oven at 420 for about 3 minutes. After about 3 minutes, you take that bottom layer of pie crust out. You line the bottom with your cubed chicken pieces, and then you pour your cooled and thickened sauce across the top of the chicken cubes. Then you put your then you cut up some green onions, fresh green onions, to sprinkle across the top of that sauce. Then you put the top pie crust, then you put the other pie crust on top, paint that with a layer of the rest of the egg white, cut air hole slices in the top of the pie crust, put it in your 420-degree oven for approximately 40 minutes, or whenever your crust is nice and golden brown. You're welcome. It's going to be delicious, I already know. And I'm very proud of myself because I came up with this myself over the course. So, yeah.